It is the pride of the German Navy, the most feared battleship ever. Winston Churchill feared that it is potentially disastrous in the highest degree, as it can neither be caught nor killed, and would therefore range freely throughout the oceans, rupturing all communications. I'm talking, of course, about the battleship Bismarck, the pinnacle of German ingenuity. Its crew was the best of the best. It was undefeatable. Or was it? Welcome to a World War II in real-time biography special where I look at the major or interesting figures of the war, in this case, a naval vessel. I'm Indy Neidell. Yep, you heard me right, a biography special about a battleship. If you follow our regular episodes week by week, ships like the Gneisenau and Scharnhorst have become recurring characters of their own, like in a soap opera. And with the Bismarck being such a unique and compelling story, we figured we'd give it some special attention. Now, I will not be going into the actual events that took place the week ending May 30th, 1941 today. Those are covered in the regular weekly episode. Today, I will go into the ship's specifications, its intended use, and how it prepared for battle. The Bismarck was unlike anything that the Germans had made before. At 251 meters long and 36 meters wide, with a displacement of a little over 50,000 tons, it is a true behemoth. Armed with 8 38-centimeter guns and 4 twin turrets, the ship outgunned any other German warship ever built. Additional medium artillery and a state-of-the-art anti-aircraft range-finding center complete the armaments. The Bismarck has a main armor belt 30 centimeters thick, made of incredibly strong Wotan steel. It has a double-walled hull, able to withstand the impact of a torpedo. The deck is 8 centimeters thick. The battery turrets and control center are extra fortified with 34 and 25 centimeters of steel. It truly is a floating fortress, with the protective hull and walls accounting for 44% of its total weight. Furthermore, its speed of 30.01 knots equals that of the HMS Hood, the pride of the British Royal Navy. But let's backtrack a little, because though the Bismarck certainly qualifies as a battleship, that is not necessarily how it is to be used. Germany's Kriegsmarine, the Navy, doesn't really intend for the Bismarck to go head-to-head with enemy battleships. Instead, as it leaves port in May 1941, it goes on a commerce raiding mission to disrupt Allied merchant shipping. Let's go back to the late 1920s, when Weimar Germany started thinking about rebuilding the Navy. In the 20s, the Germans have to rethink the purpose of their Navy and the use of it against their most likely future enemy, the French. The Versailles Treaty, and later the 1922 Washington Naval Agreement, limit Germany to a maximum of 6 active pre-dreadnought battleships. Now, these have a maximum displacement of 10,000 tons, which is nothing compared to the Hood, for example, which displaces close to 47,000 tons. To counter this, the Germans developed the Panzerschiff, or pocket battleship, allowable within the confinements of the Washington Agreement. It's a hybrid warship intended to be stronger than any faster opponent and faster than any stronger opponent. The French and the British have global empires, which allow them to refuel and restock quite flexibly. Germans, of course, do not. So the pocket battleships are designed with a range of 10,000 nautical miles. They are the basis of a naval strategy that centers on disrupting enemy supply lines, destroying resources, and drawing away vessels from Europe. But just as the first Panzerschiffe are ordered in 1928, Admiral Erich Raeder takes over as Chief of Naval High Command, and his interests go far beyond commerce raiding. He wants a fleet with battleships to match those of the British and French, especially as the latter just introduced the new, faster, better-armed Dunkirk battlecruiser class to counter the Panzerschiffe. Or as one German staff member explains it, from a purely military standpoint, the building of 10,000-ton armored ships is quite unwanted, as they are inferior in every way to ships of the line and battlecruisers of other naval powers. In 1934, the design of a new type of ship, Panzerschiff F, begins, which will later become the Bismarck, named after Germany's first chancellor. Earlier types D and E, respectively the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau, were designed to counter the French Dunkirk class, but still stay within the confinements of Versailles, and they resulted in smaller guns and a lower speed. But when Italy announces the construction of new 35,000-ton battleships with 35-centimeter guns. The game changes. France reacts by introducing the Richelieu class, as does Britain with the new George V class battleships. Bismarck specs reflect the size war, with 12 33-centimeter guns and very thick armor. In a series of exercises in 1935, the pocket battleships show their true potential. Raeder and the other German commanders, but also the French, now see that the tactical value of long-range pocket battleships is a lot better than anticipated. The French need to up their game significantly to match this. Following this shift in strategy, the Bismarck is then also designed according to the doctrine in which pocket battleships were designed. It's meant to be able to act relatively autonomously and in remote places, and so is equipped with a strong defensive hull, mobility, and an impressive range of 16,000 nautical miles. So what is the Bismarck going to be? A ship-of-the-line battleship or a commerce raider? By May 1941, some serious design changes have been made to keep up with enemy designs and with politics. The Bismarck now has these whopping 8 38-centimeter guns, not to mention that displacement of over 50,000 tons. Its range has been reduced significantly, though, with a reach of 8,500 nautical miles at cruising speed. Most of this is designed to be superior to the French Dunkirk and Richelieu battleships. But its range, though limited compared with 1934, means it can double as a commerce raider. And that's what is its intended purpose when it leaves port that month together with the heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen. It's sent on a commerce raiding mission called Operation Rheinübung in the Atlantic to disrupt the supply lines of Britain. Food rationing had already been imposed on the British public, and the German subs operating from nearby French harbors sink some 200,000 tons of shipping a month. A similar operation by the Gneisenau and Scharnhorst in March already dealt a great blow to British supply, but because both were damaged by the RAF, the Bismarck and Prinz Eugen are sent on the new mission. Raeder gives Admiral Lutyens, who's sailing the Bismarck, orders to be cautious. The primary target in this operation is the enemy's merchant shipping. Enemy warships will be engaged only when that objective makes it necessary, and it can be done without excessive risk. As we know, it didn't quite work out that way. It will be heavily debated after its demise if the Bismarck should have even been used on a commerce raiding mission, or if it should have stocked up on fuel before heading out into the Atlantic. Design flaws like a poorly protected rudder will emerge that should perhaps have been taken into account earlier. But Bismarck was designed to be a battleship and to counter other battleships, but at the same time with the ability of long-distance commerce raiding. Maybe Raeder and the designers tried to capture a best of both worlds potential, but such an ambiguous strategic purpose and use, and the resulting design choices gave it perhaps the worst of both worlds. If you would like to see how Hitler came to power, which gave Raeder the freedom to pursue his designs, you can click right here for our Between Two Wars episode about that. We were able to make this and all our other videos thanks to our Time Ghost Army members. You can join them at timeghost.tv or patreon.com to make sure we get to keep making awesome videos like this. Subscribe, ring that bell. See you next time.